As a linebacker, probably the most important thing we can do is get the proper key read. On this play, Terrel Bernard from the Buffalo Bills does exactly that against the Houston Texans and the split zone play. Let's film study. Okay, here we are. It's week 5 of the 2024 season. Buffalo Bills versus Houston Texans. The Texans have the ball on their 19-yard line. It is first down and 10. All right, we're going to take a look at the Houston personnel grouping. We have a running back here and a tight end here. Other than that, we have 3 receivers. So this is 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end. That's 1 and 1 is 11. All right. Now, formationally, the Bills are in what I would call a cluster 3 on this side and a 1 cut on this side. All right. There's 3 guys, 3 receivers in very close proximity, also attached to the core, which makes this a cluster. Okay. 3 receivers in close proximity attached to the core is a cluster. If it was separated or removed from the core out here, it would just be a bunch. Okay. But this is a cluster. So cluster 3, we got 1 on this side and he's in a cut split. So cluster 31 cut. All right, the backfield set, we start with the quarterback. It is gun, all right, and then the only other back in the backfield is the tailback. So this is gun far because the back is far or offset away from the tight end. All right, now beyond that, let's take a look at what the Bills are in. It looks like we got a 2-high shell here. Both corners seem to be pressed up in pretty tight in coverage. So my first inclination would be to think that this was cover 2. All right, so the telltale signs of cover 2 are 2 high safeties and then corners pressed up tight in coverage. If this was cover 4 or some sort of a quarters coverage, typically we would have the quarters sagged back a little bit more off the ball. All right, so I'm assuming this is cover 2. We'll watch to see if that's the case. Now, right here in the middle, Bernard is our middle linebacker here. And we're going to watch him do a really good job of reading all of this action. Now, the way that this should work is Bernard will first read the tailback, okay, because he's the only back in the backfield. All right, we won't consider this tight end a fullback because he's not in the backfield, meaning he's not inside the tackle box and behind the ball. He is behind the ball, but outside the tackle. Okay, so our first key is going to be this back. Right now, whichever side he steps to, our new key will be that side of the offensive line. Okay, so right now we're going to see this back steps to first we get motion. All right, a little jet motion. All right, which is just there as smoke and mirrors. So as linebackers, we don't want to pay any attention to that jet motion. All right, so as Ricky Bernard is watching this, he keeps his eyes locked on the running back. We don't want to let this influence us at all. All right, so the running back steps to his left, all right, and immediately his eyes go to the left side of the line. Now, as he looks to the left side of the line, he sees what's called a contradiction. That is something flowing back across the formation in the opposite direction of the first key read, which was our running back. All right, so the back step to our left. Here comes the tight end across behind the line of scrimmage to the right. This is a contradiction. All right, we will do what's called honor the contradiction, and now Rocky Bernard is going to play his right side gap. Now, if we look at this from the other angle, we'll go ahead and let it run. You can see the tackle for loss. It's a really good play. Now, if we look at it from the other angle, we're going to see exactly what this looks like. All right, pre-snap, this is a 7-man box. We said it was cover 2. It is cover 2. All right, which means we have a 7-man box. All right, now in a 7-man box, there's always a potential of 2 gaps for the linebackers. So if the back steps in this direction, all right, then Terrel Bernard's gap is this A gap right here. All right, if the back were to step in the other direction, over here, all right, then Bernard's gap becomes this front side B gap or this backside B gap there. Okay, so he has the potential of 2 gaps, there or there, depending on what the running back does. Okay, now this is called a 2-part read because we can't just rely on just that first read. Okay, so now watch. The back steps to our right. Boom. Okay, Bernard is headed to that gap now. Okay, it looks like he's going to go hit this A gap that he was assigned if the back step this way. But his read isn't done. Okay, now his read goes to this tight end. All right, really to this whole side of the offensive line, but he's going to see the tight end pulling back across. All right, now he's going to honor the contradiction because a puller will actually trump the initial read. So now his new read is as if the back went to the other direction. So now he's over here in this B gap. All right, so let's watch that in slow motion. Back steps to our right, but the tight end pulls back the other way, so he goes right to the B gap. Now, if we watch his footwork, you can see how this kind of works in his mind. You can watch his eyes too. All right, he's looked at the back. The back steps to his left, so he's stepping to his left. His eyes see the tight end. Now he's coming back to the right. He didn't really waste much much movement there, pretty close to perfect, right? Kind of takes a little extra gather, but that's fine. And then he shows up right in that B gap where he needs to be to make the tackle. All right, so split zone, as with counters or powers, we're going to see, well, counters and split zone, we're going to see a guy give us a contradiction of our initial read, and that's going to trump our initial read. So again, back steps to the linebacker's left, eyes go to the left side of the line, see the puller coming back, honor the contradiction, go hit your right side gap. B gap in this case, let's watch it one more time. Boop, boop, boom, tackle for loss. All right, there you go. Your eyes are the key to everything. Until next time.